Listen, old man, my father has enough money to replace you by lunchtime. Those words hang in the air like poison gas. The courtroom freezes. Every single person stops breathing for a second. Judge Frank Caprio sits behind his bench in Providence Municipal Court. His face doesn't move, but his eyes tell a different story. The person who just said those words is standing 15 feet away. His name is Trevor Ashford. He's 23 years old. His hair is styled with expensive gel that costs $80 a bottle. He's wearing a Balenciaga hoodie, black and white. The price tag was $1,200. On his wrist sits a rose gold Audemars Piguet watch, $45,000. His sneakers are limited edition Jordan 1s, the ones that sold out in 3 minutes. He paid $6,000 to a reseller. Trevor made his money in cryptocurrency. He bought Ethereum when he was 19, turned $50,000 into $8 million. Now he thinks he's untouchable. Now he thinks rules don't apply to him. Now he's standing in Judge Caprio's courtroom, and he's about to learn the hardest lesson of his life. If you believe that justice should be equal for everyone, no matter how much money they have, you'll want to see what happens next. Let me take you back to how we got here. Back to the beginning of this case. Back to 30 minutes ago, when things were still calm. It's a Tuesday morning, March 14th. The courtroom is filled with people. Most of them are here for traffic violations, parking tickets, expired registrations, small stuff, normal stuff. The kind of cases Judge Caprio handles every single day. The bailiff stands up. He's a tall man with gray hair. His uniform is pressed and clean. Case number 2025, TR 94218, he calls out. State of Rhode Island versus Trevor Ashford. Failure to stop at a red light. Reckless driving. Leaving the scene of an accident. Judge Caprio looks at his papers. He adjusts his glasses. Mr. Ashford, please step forward. Trevor walks to the front, but he doesn't walk normal. He struts, like he's walking into a nightclub, like he owns the place. His phone is still in his hand. He's looking at it, checking his crypto portfolio probably. The Bitcoin price, the Ethereum charts. Mr. Ashford, Judge Caprio says. His voice is calm, professional. Please put your phone away. Trevor looks up, for just a second. Then he looks back down at his phone. Hold on, he says. I'm about to close a trade. This is like $20,000 we're talking about. The judge waits. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. The whole courtroom waits. People shift in their seats. This isn't normal. You don't make a judge wait. Finally, Trevor puts the phone in his pocket. Okay, he says. What's up? What's up? Like he's talking to his friend at a coffee shop. Not a judge in a court of law. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath. Mr. Ashford, you're here today because on February 28th, you ran a red light on Atwells Avenue. You were driving 65 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone. You hit another vehicle, and you left the scene. Do you understand these charges? Trevor shrugs. Yeah, I guess. But there's context here. Context, the judge repeats. Please explain the context. The light was yellow when I entered the intersection, Trevor says. Or maybe it just turned red. I don't know. It was close. And I was in a hurry. I had a meeting. A meeting, Judge Caprio says. He writes something down. And the other vehicle you hit? The person you crashed into? Did you stop to check if they were hurt? Trevor waves his hand, like he's swatting away a fly. My lawyer will handle all that. That's what I pay him for. His lawyer is sitting at the table behind him. The lawyer's name is Richard Chun. He's young, maybe 30 years old. He looks stressed. He's dealt with difficult clients before. But Trevor is something else. Richard stands up. Your Honor, if I may. Sit down, Richard, Trevor says. He doesn't even turn around. I got this. Richard sits. His face is red. He opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. Then he just looks down at his papers. Judge Caprio leans forward. Mr. Ashford, this is a serious matter. You hit another person's vehicle. That person was injured. Did you know that? For the first time, Trevor looks slightly uncomfortable. Injured? Like how bad? The other driver's name is Maria Santos, the judge says. He picks up a file. She's 42 years old. She works as a home health aide. She takes care of elderly people who can't take care of themselves. She drives from house to house. 7 clients every day. When you hit her car, her head struck the steering wheel. She got a concussion. She also injured her back. She couldn't work for 3 weeks. No work means no money. She has 3 children at home. She's a single mother. Her electricity was almost shut off because she couldn't pay the bill. The courtroom is quiet. People are listening now. Really listening. This isn't just about a traffic ticket anymore. This is about a real person. A real life. Real consequences. Trevor shifts his weight. Okay, but that's what insurance is for, right? My insurance company will pay for all that. Your insurance company, Judge Caprio says. The one you called from the scene? Oh wait, you didn't call from the scene. You left. You drove away. You went to your meeting. Trevor's jaw tightens. I didn't know she was hurt. I thought it was just a fender bender. The judge looks at him for a long moment. You thought, but you didn't stop to find out. You didn't check. You just left. A woman in the back row whispers to her husband. What kind of person does that? The whisper carries. Other people hear. They nod. Trevor hears it too. He spins around. Excuse me? You got something to say? The bailiff steps forward. Mr. Ashford, face the bench. Trevor turns back around. But he's mad now. You can see it in his shoulders. In the way he's standing. This is ridiculous, he mutters. Judge Caprio ignores that. Let's talk about what happened after you left. According to the police report, you were located 4 hours later. Officers went to your apartment. When they arrived, you refused to take a breathalyzer test. Why? Because I didn't have to, Trevor says. I know my rights. I don't have to do anything without my lawyer. That's true, the judge agrees. You have rights. But here's the thing. When you refuse a breathalyzer, that refusal can be used as evidence. It makes people wonder. What were you hiding? I wasn't hiding anything, Trevor says. His voice rises. I had 1 drink at lunch. 1. I was completely fine to drive. 1 drink, Judge Caprio says. He writes that down too. At lunch. And then you got in your car and drove 65 in a 35 zone. The speed limit on that road is stupid anyway, Trevor says. It should be at least 50. There's no reason for it to be 35. A man in the 3rd row lets out a short laugh. Not a happy laugh. An angry laugh. The kind of laugh that says, "Are you kidding me?" Trevor spins around again. You think this is funny? Judge Caprio's voice cuts through. Mr. Ashford, I will not tell you again. Face forward. Show respect to this court. Trevor faces forward, but his hands are in fists now. Respect? You want to talk about respect? I'm wasting my time here. Every minute I'm in this room, I'm losing money. Real money. Not like, he waves his hand at the courtroom, whatever you people make. The temperature in the room changes. It's like someone turned on a heater. People sit up straighter. The bailiff's hand moves closer to his belt. Richardson puts his head in his hands. Judge Caprio remains calm. Mr. Ashford, I suggest you adjust your attitude. You're not helping your case. My case. Trevor laughs. It's not a real laugh. It's bitter. Mean. Your Honor, let's be real. I'll pay whatever fine you give me. It's nothing. I made $40,000 yesterday. While I was sleeping. My money makes money. So whatever number you're thinking, just say it. I'll pay it right now. Then we can all go home. The judge doesn't respond right away. He looks at Trevor. Really looks at him. Like he's trying to see inside. Trying to understand what makes someone act like this. Is that what you think? The judge finally says. You think you can pay your way out of this? I mean, yeah, Trevor says. That's how the world works. Money solves problems. That's literally what it's for. Judge Caprio picks up another piece of paper. Let me tell you about money, Mr. Ashford. Maria Santos makes $15 an hour. She works 45 hours every week. That's $675. Before taxes. After taxes, she takes home about $500. Every week, she pays $200 for rent, $50 for groceries, $30 for gas. She has to buy her kids' school supplies, clothes when they grow out of the old ones. She has $20 left at the end of each week. If she's lucky. If nothing breaks. If nobody gets sick. That's money for her. Money is survival. Trevor is quiet now, but he doesn't look moved. He just looks impatient. The judge continues. You made $40,000 yesterday. While sleeping. Maria worked 60 hours last week. She made $750. Before taxes. It would take her more than a year to make what you made sleeping. Do you understand that? I understand math, yeah, Trevor says. But that's not my fault. I took risks. I invested smart. I earned my money. You earned it, the judge repeats. Tell me, Mr. Ashford, how much money did you start with? The money you invested in cryptocurrency. Where did it come from? Trevor hesitates. Just for a second. I saved it. You saved $50,000. The judge looks at the file. According to this, you were 19 years old when you made that investment. 19. You saved $50,000 by 19. Trevor's face gets red. My family helped me. Your family, the judge says. Your father is Preston Ashford, the real estate developer, worth approximately $300 million. Is that correct? I don't know his exact net worth, Trevor says. But yeah, he's done well. He's done well, the judge echoes. And he gave you $50,000 to invest. As a gift. Is that right? Trevor shrugs. It was a loan. I paid him back. You paid him back after you made $8 million. That must have been easy. It was still a risk, Trevor insists. I could have lost it all. Crypto is volatile. Judge Caprio sets down his papers. Mr. Ashford, let me ask you something. What do you think would have happened if you had lost that $50,000? If your investment went to zero? What would have happened to you? Trevor thinks about it. I don't know. I would have been out 50 grand. And then, the judge presses. Would you have been homeless? Would you have gone hungry? Would your electricity have been shut off? Trevor says nothing. I'll tell you what would have happened, Judge Caprio says. Nothing. Nothing would have happened to you. You would have been fine. Your father would have made sure of that. You had a safety net. Maria Santos doesn't have a safety net. If she loses her job, her kids don't eat. That's the difference. That's what you don't understand. Trevor's jaw clenches. So what? I should feel bad for being successful. That's not fair. Fair. A woman's voice comes from the left side of the courtroom. Everyone turns. It's Maria Santos. She's sitting in the second row. Her arm is in a brace. Her face is bruised. Yellow and purple. She's been quiet this whole time. But now she's speaking. You want to talk about fair? Judge Caprio looks at her. Miss Santos, please. Let me handle this. But Maria stands up. Her voice shakes. Not from fear. From anger. No. I need to say this. I need him to hear this. The bailiff looks at the judge. The judge nods slightly. Let her speak. Maria looks directly at Trevor. You hit my car. You saw me. I know you saw me because we made eye contact. For 1 second. I was scared. I thought you would stop. I thought you would check if I was okay. But you looked away. You looked away and you drove off. Like I was nothing. Like I didn't matter. Trevor doesn't respond. He's looking at the floor now. I couldn't work for 3 weeks, Maria continues. Her voice gets stronger. Louder. 3 weeks. Do you know what that means? That means no money. That means I had to choose between paying rent and buying food. I had to ask my church for help. Me, a woman who works every single day, who never asks for anything. I had to beg, because you couldn't be bothered to stop. Trevor's hands are in his pockets. He's rocking slightly, back and forth. My daughter is 7 years old, Maria says. Tears are running down her face now. But she keeps talking. She asked me why we couldn't turn on the lights, why we had to use candles. I told her we were camping. Inside. I made a game, because I didn't want her to know. I didn't want her to be scared. But I was scared. I was terrified. The courtroom is completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. You could hear someone breathing from across the room. Maria wipes her eyes. You said money solves problems. You're right. Money would have solved my problem. But I don't have money. I have 2 jobs and I still don't have money. You have money. You have so much money you made $40,000 sleeping. But you couldn't spare 1 minute. 1 minute to stop. To check if I was okay. To be a decent human being. She sits down. Her hands are shaking. The woman next to her puts an arm around her shoulders. Trevor is still looking at the floor. His face is pale. For the first time since he walked in, he looks small. Young. Unsure. Judge Caprio lets the silence sit for a moment. Then he speaks. Mr. Ashford, do you have anything to say to Miss Santos? Trevor opens his mouth. Closes it. Opens it again. I didn't know it was that bad. You didn't know, the judge says. Because you didn't stop. You didn't care enough to find out. Trevor nods slowly. I'm sorry. The words are quiet. Almost too quiet to hear. Sorry, Maria says from her seat. Her voice is sharp now. He's sorry. That makes everything okay then. Trevor looks at her. I mean it. I really am sorry. I'll pay for everything. Hospital bills, lost wages, whatever you need. Now he wants to pay, Maria says. Now. After he got caught. After he was forced to come here. Not before. Not on his own. Trevor has no response to that. Judge Caprio picks up his gavel. He doesn't strike it yet. He just holds it. Mr. Ashford, let's talk about what happened after the police found you. According to Officer Rodriguez's report, you made several phone calls while you were being questioned. Who did you call? Trevor shifts uncomfortably. My lawyer. I called my lawyer. Just your lawyer. The judge looks at a paper. Officer Rodriguez says you made 3 phone calls. The first was to your lawyer. Who were the other 2 calls to? Richard Chun stands up. Your Honor, I don't think. Sit down, counselor, Judge Caprio says. Not mean, but firm. I'm going to find out either way. Mr. Ashford can tell me now, or I can call Officer Rodriguez to the stand. His choice. Trevor looks at Richard. Richard gives him a tiny head shake. Don't say it. But Trevor doesn't listen. I called my dad, and my dad called some people. That's it. That's all that happened. Some people, the judge says. Let me be more specific. Your father called City Councilman Burke. He called State Senator Williams. He called the police chief. He called my office. For calls. All within an hour of your arrest. Do you know what he said in those calls? Trevor says nothing. He said, the judge continues, reading from a document, that this was a misunderstanding. That his son is a good kid. That his family has donated a lot of money to this city. That it would be a shame if this incident hurt your future. Does that sound familiar? Trevor's face is bright red now. I didn't ask him to do that. But you called him, Judge Caprio says. You knew what would happen when you called him. You knew he would try to make this go away. That's what you wanted. That's what you expected. Trevor says nothing. Because what can he say? The judge is right. Let me tell you something about those phone calls, the judge says. His voice is different now. Harder. Every single one of those people told your father no. The councilman said no. The senator said no. The police chief said no. My clerk said no. Because in this courtroom, money doesn't matter. Connections don't matter. Your last name doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you did. And what you did was wrong. A man in the back row starts clapping. Just one person. Then another person joins. Then another. Soon half the courtroom is clapping. Not loud. Not wild. Just steady. Respectful. Agreeing. Trevor spins around. His face is angry again. Really? You're all just perfect, right? None of you have ever made a mistake. None of you have ever screwed up. The clapping stops. Mr. Ashford, the judge says. Turn around. Now. Trevor turns. But he's breathing hard. His hands are shaking. This is insane. You're all treating me like I'm some kind of monster. I made a mistake. One mistake. And you're acting like I killed someone. You didn't kill anyone, Judge Caprio agrees. But you could have. Going 65 in a 35, running a red light, that's how people die. You're lucky Ms. Santos is alive. You're lucky her injuries weren't worse. You're lucky you didn't hit someone else. A child maybe. Someone crossing the street. You want to talk about luck? That's luck. Trevor is quiet for a moment. Then he says, okay, fine. I get it. I messed up. So give me my fine. Give me whatever punishment. Let's just end this. Judge Caprio leans back in his chair. You want to end this? You think it's that simple? Isn't it? Trevor says, I pay a fine, maybe I lose my license for a while and we're done. That's how this works. That's how it usually works, the judge says. For people who show remorse. For people who take responsibility. For people who understand what they did wrong. But you, Mr. Ashford, you still don't get it. You think this is about money. You think you can pay your way out. You think consequences are for other people. Trevor's lawyer stands up again. Your Honor, my client has apologized. He's acknowledged his mistake. I think. Richard, Trevor says. He doesn't even look at his lawyer. I told you. I got this. Mr. Ashford, the judge says. I strongly suggest you listen to your lawyer. He's trying to help you. Trevor laughs. That bitter laugh again. Help me? By making me sit here and get lectured? No thanks. I don't need help. I need this to be over. Over, the judge repeats. Tell me, What would you do if this was over? What would you do when you left here? Trevor shrugs. I don't know. Go home. Get back to work. Live my life. Your life, Judge Caprio says. The life where you drive however you want. Where you do whatever you want. Where rules don't apply to you. Rules apply to me, Trevor says. That's why I'm here, isn't it? You're applying the rules right now. So apply them. Give me the maximum fine. Give me the maximum penalty. I don't care. Just do it. The judge studies him. You don't care. That's the problem. That's the whole problem right there. You don't care about Ms. Santos. You don't care about what could have happened. You don't care about this court. You don't care about anything except getting out of here. Trevor says nothing. Because again, the judge is right. Judge Caprio picks up his pen. Let me tell you about my job, Mr. Ashford. My job isn't just to punish people. It's to help them understand. To help them learn. To help them become better. I've been doing this job for 39 years. I've seen thousands of people stand where you're standing. Young people. Old people. Rich people. Poor people. And you know what I've learned? Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone. The difference is what they do after. Some people learn. They grow. They change. Others don't. They keep making the same mistakes. Over and over. They end up right back here. Or worse. In a bigger courtroom with bigger consequences. Trevor is listening now. Really listening. Maybe for the first time. Which one are you? The judge asks. Are you someone who learns? Or are you someone who thinks the rules don't matter? Before Trevor can answer, his phone buzzes. In his pocket. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Without thinking, he pulls it out. He looks at the screen. The courtroom gasps. He did not just do that. He did not just check his phone. While the judge is talking. While the judge is asking him a direct question. Judge Caprio's face changes. It's not angry exactly. It's disappointed. Deeply disappointed. Mr. Ashford, put the phone away. Trevor looks up. He realizes his mistake. Sorry, it might be important. Important, the judge says. The word hangs there. More important than this. More important than this court? More important than respecting the justice system. Trevor puts the phone away. No, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. You weren't thinking. That seems to be a pattern with you. Trevor's face flashes with anger again. Look, I said I'm sorry. What else do you want from me? What do I want? Judge Caprio sets down his pen. I want you to understand. I want you to feel what Ms. Santos felt. The fear. The worry. The helplessness. I want you to know what it's like to not have money solve everything. I want you to learn. But you know what? I don't think you want to learn. I think you want to leave. I think you want to go back to your life and forget this ever happened. Trevor doesn't deny it. The judge continues. So let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to give you a choice. Right now. Right here. You can accept the sentence I'm about to give you. Or you can reject it and request a trial. If you request a trial, all of this becomes public record. The media will cover it. Your name will be in the papers. Everyone will know what you did. Your crypto friends, your business partners, everyone. Is that what you want? Trevor's eyes widen. That's not fair. You're blackmailing me. Blackmailing. The judge's voice gets sharp. I'm telling you your options. That's not blackmail. That's how the law works. You have a right to a trial. Always. But trials are public. That's not a threat. That's a fact. Richard Chun stands up one more time. Your Honor, may I have a moment to consult with my client? You may, the judge says. Richard walks over to Trevor. He whispers in his ear. Fast. Urgent. Trevor shakes his head. Richard whispers more. Back and forth. Finally, Trevor nods. Richard walks back to the table. Your Honor, my client will accept the court's sentence. Very well, Judge Caprio says. Mr. Ashford, do you understand that by accepting this sentence, you waive your right to appeal? Yes, Trevor says quietly. I need you to speak up, the judge says. Yes, Trevor says louder. I understand. Good. Judge Caprio picks up his gavel again. Then let's talk about your sentence. The courtroom leans forward. Everyone wants to hear this. What will he do? What will the punishment be? Let's start with the financial penalty, the judge says. Failure to stop at a red light. That's a $500 fine. Reckless driving. That's $1,000. Leaving the scene of an accident with injury. That's $5,000. Refusing a breathalyzer test. That's $2,000 more. Total of $8,500. Trevor barely reacts. $8,500. That's nothing to him. Pocket change. However, the judge continues, there are also restitution costs. Ms. Santos's medical bills total $4,200. Her lost wages total $3,000. Her car repairs are $6,100. You will pay all of those costs directly to her. That's another $13,300. Grand total of $21,800. Trevor shrugs slightly. Still nothing. He probably spends that much on clothes. You will also lose your license, Judge Caprio says, for 180 days. 6 months. During that time, you cannot drive. At all. Not to the store. Not to a friend's house. Not anywhere. If you're caught driving, you'll be arrested immediately. Now Trevor looks worried. 6 months without driving? That's a long time. But he can handle it. He'll hire a driver. Problem solved. But we're not done, the judge says. Not even close. Those are just the standard penalties. Now we get to the part that matters. The part that might actually teach you something. Trevor's eyes narrow. What does that mean? Judge Caprio leans forward. Mr. Ashford, you said money solves problems. You said you earned your success. You said you took risks. Well, now I'm going to give you a chance to earn something else. Respect. Understanding. Empathy. Things money can't buy. Trevor says nothing. He's scared now. You can see it. The way he's standing. The way his hands are fidgeting. You are sentenced to 300 hours of community service, the judge says. Those hours will be served at the Rhode Island Community Health Center. The same health center where Ms. Santos takes her elderly clients. You will work as a transport aide. Do you know what that means? Trevor shakes his head. It means you'll help transport patients, the judge explains. Elderly people. Disabled people. People who can't walk on their own. People who need wheelchairs. You'll lift them. Move them. Help them get to their appointments. You'll do this every Saturday and Sunday for the next 7 months. From 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No exceptions. No excuses. Trevor's mouth opens. 6 in the morning? On weekends? That's what? The judge interrupts. Inconvenient. Difficult. Tiring? Yes. That's the point. But I have things to do on weekends, Trevor says. I have meetings. I have. Cancel them, Judge Caprio says. Or schedule them for later in the day. I don't care. This is non-negotiable. Miss one shift, just one, and you'll serve 30 days in jail. Are we clear? Trevor looks at Richard. Richard nods. Accept it. Don't fight it. We're clear, Trevor says. His voice is small again. Good, the judge says. You'll report to Supervisor Linda Martinez. She runs the transport program. She's tough. She's fair. She won't give you special treatment. She doesn't care about your money or your last name. You'll wear a fluorescent yellow vest that says community service on the back. You'll wear it over your designer clothes. Everyone will know why you're there. Someone in the gallery snickers, then catches themselves. But the judge heard it. He doesn't say anything, but there's a tiny smile at the corner of his mouth. There's more, Judge Caprio continues. You will also write a letter of apology to Ms. Santos. Handwritten. Not typed. Not dictated to a secretary. You will write it yourself. It must be at least 1,000 words. You will explain what you did wrong, why it was wrong, what you learned, and how you plan to do better. You will deliver this letter to Ms. Santos in person, in this courtroom, with me present. That will happen in 90 days. Trevor nods. He can do that. A letter. That's easy. The letter cannot be written by your lawyer, the judge adds, as if reading his mind. It cannot be edited by anyone else. It has to be your words, your thoughts, your feelings. If I detect that someone else wrote it or heavily edited it, you'll start your 300 hours over from zero. Understood? Understood, Trevor says. You'll also attend a victim impact panel, Judge Caprio says. That's a program where people who were hurt by reckless driving tell their stories. You'll sit there. You'll listen. You'll hear about people who lost family members, people who were permanently injured, people whose lives were destroyed by someone who thought they were above the law. That session lasts 4 hours. You'll attend 2 of them. Trevor nods again. He's not arguing anymore. He's just accepting, taking it all in. And finally, the judge says you will complete an online course about defensive driving. It's 40 hours of instruction. You'll do it on your own time. You'll pass the final exam with at least 90%. If you get less than 90%, you'll take it again. And again. Until you pass. Okay, Trevor says. Okay, the judge repeats. Do you understand everything I just told you? The fines, the restitution, the license suspension, the community service, the letter, the panels, the course. Yes, Trevor says. I understand. And do you accept this sentence? Trevor hesitates. Just for a second. Then he says, yes. I accept. Judge Caprio nods. Good. But there's one more thing. Trevor's eyes widen. One more thing? What else could there be? The judge looks at the prosecutor. Counselor, please read the contempt charge. The prosecutor stands. She's a young woman, maybe 28. She's been quiet this whole time. Now she picks up a paper. Your Honor, the state moves to charge Mr. Ashford with criminal contempt of court. Based on his behavior during these proceedings, specifically his repeated disrespect toward the court, his refusal to follow instructions to face forward, and his use of a mobile device while the court was in session. Trevor's face goes white. What? No. That's... Mr. Ashford, Judge Caprio says. You spoke over me. You ignored my instructions. You checked your phone while I was talking to you. You showed nothing but disrespect from the moment you walked in here. Did you think there would be no consequences for that? I apologized, Trevor says. His voice is shaking now. You apologized, the judge agrees. After you did it. After you were caught. Just like you apologized to Ms. Santos. After you were caught. I'm seeing a pattern here. You're only sorry when you face consequences. Trevor looks at Richard. Richard looks helpless. There's nothing he can do. This is out of his hands. I find you guilty of criminal contempt, Judge Caprio says. The sentence is 15 days in the adult correctional institutions, to be served immediately. The courtroom erupts. People gasp. Someone says, "Oh my God." Maria Santos covers her mouth with her hand. Trevor stumbles backward. 15 days? In jail? You can't. I can, the judge says. And I just did. Bailiff, please take Mr. Ashford into custody. The bailiff steps forward. He's holding handcuffs. Real handcuffs. Metal. Cold. Trevor backs away. Wait. Please. Your Honor, please. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I was stressed and I wasn't thinking and... You weren't thinking, Judge Caprio says. That's what you said before. That seems to be your excuse for everything. Well, now you'll have 15 days to think. Maybe that will help. The bailiff reaches Trevor. Sir, put your hands behind your back. Trevor looks at Richard one more time. Richard stands up. Your Honor, please. Can we discuss? There's nothing to discuss, the judge says. Your client had every opportunity to behave appropriately. He chose not to. Actions have consequences. Trevor puts his hands behind his back. The bailiff puts the handcuffs on. Click, click. The sound echoes through the courtroom. It's final. Real. This is actually happening. Listen, old man, Trevor says suddenly. His voice is different. Desperate. Angry. Scared. All at once. My father has enough money to replace you by lunchtime. One phone call. One donation to the right campaign. And you're done. You're finished. You'll be out of this courtroom before. Judge Caprio slams his gavel down. Bang. The sound is like a gunshot. Everyone jumps. That's enough, the judge says. His voice is thunder. That's more than enough. You want to threaten me? You want to threaten this court? Fine. Your contempt sentence just increased. 30 days. 1 month. Take him away. The bailiff starts walking Trevor toward the side door. The door that leads to the holding cells. Trevor is fighting now. Not physically, but verbally. No. No, no, no. Dad. Dad, call someone. Call anyone. Get me out of here. Preston Ashford stands up from the back row. He's been there the whole time. Watching. Listening. He's a tall man. Gray hair. Expensive suit. He doesn't look like the kind of man who's used to losing. Your Honor, Preston says. His voice is smooth. Controlled. If I may address the court. Judge Caprio looks at him. Mr. Ashford. Senior. You want to say something? I want to apologize, Preston says. For my son's behavior. This is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. I raised him better than this. I don't know what. You don't know. The judge's voice is sharp. Mr. Ashford, you called 4 different officials try and make this case go away. You tried to use your money and your influence to protect your son from consequences. And now you're surprised that he thinks he can do the same thing? Where you think he learned this behavior? Preston's face tightens. Your Honor, I was simply trying to. To what? Judge Caprio interrupts. To help? This isn't help. This is enabling. You've spent 23 years teaching your son that money fixes everything. That power matters more than responsibility. That he's above the rules. Well, he's not. Nobody is. Preston stands there, silent. For the first time in probably his entire life, he has no response. The bailiff has Trevor at the door now. Trevor looks back. Dad, do something. Preston opens his mouth, then closes it. He looks at the judge, then back at his son, and he says quietly, no. Everyone freezes. What? Trevor says, no. Preston repeats, louder this time. I'm not going to do something. Not this time. Trevor's face crumples. Dad, please. Preston walks down the aisle, toward his son. The bailiff pauses, waiting to see what will happen. Preston stops a few feet away. He looks at Trevor, really looks at him, the way a father looks at a son he loves but doesn't recognize anymore. Trevor, Preston says. His voice cracks slightly. I failed you. I gave you everything you ever wanted. Money, cars, opportunities. But I never taught you what matters. I never taught you to think about other people. I never taught you that money doesn't make you better than anyone. It just makes you luckier. Trevor is crying now. Real tears, running down his face. Dad, I'm scared. I don't want to go to jail. I know you're scared, Preston says. Good. You should be. Maybe being scared will help you understand. Maybe it will help you change. But Dad. No, Preston says firmly. You did this, Trevor. You made these choices. You were disrespectful. You were cruel. You threatened a judge. A judge. Do you understand how serious that is? Do you understand what you've done? Trevor says nothing. He's sobbing now. Full body sobs. Like a child. Preston turns to Judge Caprio. Your Honor, my son will serve his sentence. All of it. The jail time, the community service, everything. I won't interfere. I won't make any calls. I won't try to fix this. Because you're right. I've been fixing things for him his whole life. And look what it created. Look what he became. The judge nods slowly. Mr. Ashford, I appreciate that. I really do. But, Preston continues, I have a request. Not for leniency. Not for special treatment. Just information. When Trevor gets out, when he completes his community service, when he delivers his letter, will you let me know? I want to be there. I want to see if he's changed. I want to see if he learned. I'll do that, Judge Caprio says. You have my word. Preston nods. He looks at Trevor one more time. I love you, son. But love isn't enough anymore. You need to earn your way back. From rock bottom. Like everyone else. He turns and walks back to his seat. He sits down. He puts his face in his hands. The bailiff takes Trevor through the door. The door closes. Trevor is gone. The sound of his crying fades away. The courtroom is silent for a long moment. Then someone starts crying. It's Maria Santos. But she's not crying from sadness. She's crying from relief. From release. From finally being heard. Judge Caprio looks at her. Miss Santos, I'm sorry for what you went through. No one should have to experience that. Mr. Ashford will pay your restitution within 30 days. If he doesn't, let the court know immediately. We'll make sure you get every penny. Maria nods. She can't speak. She just nods. Court is adjourned, the judge says. He strikes his gavel once. Bang. Everyone stands. The judge exits through the door behind his bench. People start talking, whispering, discussing. What just happened? Did that really just happen? Richard Chun packs up his briefcase. He looks exhausted, defeated. A woman approaches him. She's a reporter. Mr. Chun, can I ask you? No comment, Richard says. He walks out quickly. He just wants to leave. Maria Santos sits in her seat. People come up to her. They shake her hand. They hug her. They tell her she's brave. She's strong. She deserved justice and she got it. Preston Ashford sits alone in the back row. Nobody approaches him. They don't know what to say. Finally he stands. He walks out alone. His shoulders are slumped. He looks older somehow. Smaller. That was 3 months ago. 90 days. Let me tell you what happened in those 90 days. Trevor served his 30 days in jail. Not in a special section. Not in protective custody. In general population. With everyone else. He had a cellmate. A guy named Marcus who was in for possession. Marcus was from the south side of Providence. He grew up in poverty. He told Trevor stories. Real stories about what it's like to struggle. To not have enough. To watch your mother work 3 jobs and still not be able to pay rent. Trevor listened. At first because he had no choice. There was nothing else to do. But then because he wanted to. Because Marcus made him understand something. Made him see something he'd never seen before. That his problems weren't real problems. That fear of missing a meeting wasn't the same as fear of not eating. That 30 days in jail for him was a learning experience. But for Marcus, it was his life falling apart. His job gone. His apartment lost. His future uncertain. They became friends. Not close friends, but friends. When Trevor got out, he gave Marcus his number. "Call me when you get out," he said. "I'll help you find a job." After jail, Trevor started his community service. 6 in the morning. Every Saturday and Sunday. Linda Martinez was waiting for him on his first day. She was 54 years old. She'd worked at the health center for 30 years. She'd seen everything. Rich kids doing community service. Poor kids doing community service. All of them thought they were special. None of them were. "You're going to work," she told Trevor on day 1. "Really work. Your hands will hurt. Your back will hurt. Your feet will hurt. You'll go home exhausted. And then you'll come back and do it again. For 7 months. You ready?" Trevor nodded. "I'm ready." The first patient he helped was Mrs. Chun. She was 87 years old. She had Parkinson's disease. She shook constantly. She needed help getting from her wheelchair to the exam table. Trevor lifted her. He was gentle, careful, but she still gasped in pain. Her bones were fragile. Everything hurt her. "I'm sorry," Trevor said. "I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you?" "No, honey," Mrs. Chun said. Her voice was soft, kind. "You did fine. It just hurts to move. It always hurts. That's just how it is." Trevor helped 23 patients that first day. Every single one of them was struggling. Mr. Davis had diabetes. He'd lost 3 toes. Mrs. Johnson had breast cancer. She was doing chemo. Mr. Williams was a veteran. He lost his leg in Iraq. All of them were in pain. All of them were scared. All of them needed help. And Trevor helped them. Week after week. Month after month. He got to know them. Their names. Their stories. Their families. Mrs. Chin told him about her husband, who died 15 years ago. How she missed him every single day. Mr. Davis showed him pictures of his grandkids. 8 grandchildren. He'd never met 4 of them because they lived too far away, and he couldn't afford to visit. Trevor started to care. Really care. Not because he had to, but because these were real people. With real lives. Real struggles. And he was helping them. Making their lives slightly easier. Slightly better. It felt good. Better than making $40,000 sleeping. Better than buying another watch or another car. It felt meaningful. One day, 2 months into his service, Maria Santos came to the health center. She was there with one of her clients. An elderly man named Mr. Torres. She saw Trevor. He was pushing Mrs. Chun down the hallway in her wheelchair, wearing his yellow vest. His community service vest. They made eye contact. Maria stopped. Trevor stopped. Mrs. Chun looked up at Trevor. "You know her?" "Yeah," Trevor said quietly. "I know her." Maria walked over. "Hi," she said. "Hi," Trevor said. They stood there for a moment, neither one knowing what to say. Finally, Trevor spoke. "I'm sorry. I know I said that before. In court. But I mean it now. I really mean it. I'm so sorry for what I did to you. For leaving you there. For not checking if you were okay. For being such a terrible person." Maria looked at him. Studied him. She saw something different. Something changed. "You look different," she said. "I feel different," Trevor admitted. I've been learning. About what real life is like. For people who don't have what I have. It's been hard. But I needed it." Maria nodded slowly. "Good. I'm glad you're learning. Can I ask you something?" Trevor said. "Your kids. How are they?" Maria smiled. "Just a little. They're good. We're good. The restitution money helped a lot. I was able to pay off my bills. My daughter got new shoes. Her old ones had holes in them." Trevor felt something in his chest. Shame. Deep shame. "I'm glad," he said. "I'm really glad. You deserve You deserve so much better than what I did to you. Yeah, Maria said. I do. She walked away. To help Mr. Torres. To do her job. Trevor watched her go. Then, he pushed Mrs. Chun to her appointment. He helped her onto the exam table. He waited outside. When she was done, he helped her back into her wheelchair. He pushed her to the exit. He helped her into her daughter's car. Her daughter thanked him. He said, "You're welcome. It's my pleasure." And he meant it. It really was his pleasure. Today is the day. 90 days since the sentencing. Trevor is back in court. He's wearing regular clothes. Jeans. A plain blue shirt. No designer brands. His watch is a $30 Casio. He looks nervous. But different. Good different. Maria Santos is here too. She's sitting in the same seat as before. Preston Ashford is here. He's in the back row again. Waiting. Hoping. Judge Caprio enters. Everyone stands. Please be seated, the judge says. Trevor approaches the bench. He's carrying something. A folded piece of paper. And an envelope. Mr. Ashford, Judge Caprio says. Welcome back. How have you been? It's been hard, Your Honor, Trevor says. But good. It's been good. Tell me about your community service, the judge says. How's that going? I've completed 153 hours so far, Trevor says. Out of 300. I work with Linda Martinez. She's incredible. Tough but fair. Just like you said. I've been helping patients at the health center. Lifting them. Moving them. Talking to them. Learning from them. Learning what? The judge asks. Trevor thinks about how to answer. I'm learning that everyone has a story. Everyone is fighting something. And money doesn't make those fights easier. Sometimes it makes them harder. Because you think money can fix everything. But it can't. It can't fix loneliness. It can't fix sickness. It can't fix losing someone you love. I'm learning that the most important things in life aren't things at all. They're people. Connections. Helping someone. Being there when they need you. Judge Caprio nods. That's good, Mr. Ashford. That's very good. Now I understand you have something for Ms. Santos. Yes, Your Honor, Trevor says. He turns to Maria. He walks toward her. She stands up. They face each other. Trevor holds out the letter. This is for you. I wrote it myself. Every word. It's probably not perfect. I'm not a great writer. But it's honest. It's true. Maria takes the letter. She opens it. It's 3 pages. Handwritten. The handwriting is messy but readable. She starts reading. Read it out loud, Judge Caprio says. I want everyone to hear. Maria looks at him. Then at Trevor. Trevor nods. It's okay. I want them to hear. Maria begins to read. Dear Miss Santos, my name is Trevor Ashford. You know me as the person who hit your car and drove away. The person who hurt you and didn't care. The person who was too selfish to stop. Too arrogant to apologize. Too privileged to understand. I'm writing this letter to try to explain. But also to try to understand. To understand what I did to you. To understand what I've been my whole life. And to try to become something better. Maria pauses. Her voice is shaky. But she continues. When I hit your car, I saw you. For just 1 second. I saw your face. I saw that you were scared. And I looked away. I looked away because looking at you made me feel something I didn't want to feel. Guilt. Responsibility. Shame. It was easier to drive away. To pretend it didn't happen. To let my father fix it like he's fixed everything else in my life. But he couldn't fix it. And he shouldn't fix it. Because I need to fix it. I need to own what I did. Trevor is listening. His eyes are closed. His hands are clasped in front of him. I learned that you're a single mother. That you work 2 jobs. That you take care of elderly people. That you struggle every day just to survive. I never struggled like that. I never worried about money or food or electricity. I always had everything I needed. And more. Way more. So much more that I forgot other people don't have what I have. I forgot that not everyone has a father who can make problems disappear. I forgot that most people have to face consequences. Real consequences. And I was angry when I had to face them too. Like I was special. Like the rules didn't apply to me. But I'm not special. I'm just lucky. I was born lucky. I didn't earn my luck. I didn't deserve my luck. It just happened. And instead of being grateful, I was entitled. Instead of being humble, I was arrogant. Instead of helping people like you, I hurt you. And that makes me sick. It makes me hate who I was. Who I've been. Maria's voice breaks. She's crying now. But she keeps reading. For the past 3 months, I've been working at the health center. Helping people. Old people. Sick people. People who are in pain every single day. People like Mrs. Chun who shakes so bad she can't hold a glass of water. People like Mr. Davis who lost his toes to diabetes and can barely walk. People like Mr. Williams who lost his leg in a war and now lives in a 1-bedroom apartment alone. These people taught me more than anyone ever has. They taught me that life is hard. That pain is real. That kindness matters. That every single day is a gift. Even the hard days. Even the painful days. Because at least it's a day. At least you're alive. At least you have a chance to do better. To be better. Trevor opens his eyes. Tears are running down his face. I know saying sorry isn't enough. Words aren't enough. But I don't know what else to do except to try. To try to be better. To try to help people instead of hurting them. To try to use my luck for good instead of evil. Because that's what I was. Evil. Not on purpose. But through carelessness. Through selfishness. Through not caring. And careless evil is still evil. I hurt you. I made your life harder. I made your kids scared. I made you beg your church for help. And I did all of that because I couldn't be bothered to stop for 1 minute. 1 minute to check if you were okay. To call for help. To take responsibility. 1 minute. That's all it would have taken. And I couldn't even do that. I don't know if you can ever forgive me. I don't know if I can ever forgive myself. But I promise you this. I will never hurt someone like that again. I will never drive recklessly again. I will never look away again. I will stop. I will check. I will help. Because that's what decent people do. And I want to be a decent person. I'm trying to be a decent person. Thank you for reading this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being strong enough to face me. You didn't have to do that. But you did. And that shows more courage than I've ever had. Sincerely, Trevor Ashford. Maria finishes reading. She folds the letter carefully. She looks at Trevor. Thank you, she says quietly. For writing this. For meaning it. I do mean it, Trevor says. Every word. They stand there. Then Maria does something unexpected. She holds out her hand. Trevor looks at it. Then he takes it. They shake hands. It's not a hug. It's not forgiveness exactly. But it's something. It's a start. Judge Caprio watches this. He waits until they finish. Then he speaks. Mr. Ashford, I've read your progress reports. Linda Martinez says you're doing excellent work. That you show up on time every week. That you're kind to the patients. That you've improved dramatically. She says, and I quote, Trevor has become one of our most reliable volunteers. The patients ask for him by name. He's genuinely changed. That's high praise from someone who doesn't give praise easily. Trevor nods. Linda is tough. But she's amazing. She taught me how to really help people. How to listen. How to care. Good, the judge says. I'm proud of you, Trevor. Really proud. You could have done the minimum. You could have shown up and done your hours and left. But you didn't. You engaged. You learned. You grew. That's what I hoped would happen. That's what this system is supposed to do. Not just punish, but teach. Transform. Your Honor, Trevor says. Can I say something? Of course. Trevor takes a deep breath. When I was in jail, I met this guy named Marcus. He's still in there. He got caught with drugs. Not dealing. Just possessing. He had them for personal use. He's been in jail for 4 months. He lost his job. His apartment. Everything. And I've been thinking about that. About how I got 30 days for threatening a judge. For being disrespectful. For being entitled. But Marcus got 6 months for having drugs. For making a mistake. A mistake that hurt nobody but himself. And it doesn't seem fair. I got out and I have my father's support. I have money. I have opportunities. Marcus doesn't have any of that. He's going to get out and have nothing. So I was wondering, can I help him? When he gets out, can I give him a job? I'm not a business owner or anything. But I have connections. I have money. I could pay for his rent for a few months. Give him time to get back on his feet. Help him like people help me. Like you helped me, Your Honor. The courtroom is silent. Preston Ashford is staring at his son. His mouth is open slightly. He's shocked. In a good way. Judge Caprio leans back in his chair. Mr. Ashford, I can't tell you what to do with your money. That's your choice. But I'll say this. That's the kind of thinking that shows real change. Thinking about others. Thinking about how to help. That's beautiful. I encourage you to follow through on that. I will, Trevor says. I promise I will. Then, I think we're done here, the judge says. You still have 147 hours of community service to complete. You'll finish that over the next 3.5 months. Once you're done, you'll report back here. We'll have a final hearing. If you've completed everything, if you've stayed out of trouble, I'll close your case. Your record will show the conviction, but it will also show that you completed your sentence, that you changed, that you learned. Future employers, anyone who looks, they'll see that. And that's important. It shows accountability. It shows growth. Thank you, Your Honor, Trevor says, for everything, for not going easy on me, for making me face what I did, for giving me a chance to become better. Judge Caprio nods. You're welcome, Trevor. Now go finish your service. Keep working hard. Keep learning. Keep growing. Trevor turns to leave. Then he stops. He looks at his father. Preston stands up. They walk toward each other. They meet in the aisle. And Preston does something he hasn't done in years. He hugs his son. Really hugs him. Tight. Long. Neither one wants to let go. I'm proud of you, Preston whispers. So proud. Thanks, Dad, Trevor whispers back. I'm sorry. For everything. For being such a disappointment. You weren't a disappointment, Preston says. You were lost. But you found your way. That's what matters. They pull apart. Preston wipes his eyes. Trevor wipes his eyes. They walk out together, side by side. Maria Santos watches them leave. Then she looks at Judge Caprio. Your Honor, thank you. For listening to me. For believing me. For making him understand. You don't need to thank me, the judge says. You stood up for yourself. You told your truth. That took courage. I'm honored that you trusted this court to help you. Maria smiles. A real smile. Then she leaves too. The courtroom empties. Judge Caprio sits alone at his bench. He picks up Trevor's case file. He writes something in the margin. A note for himself. For the next time he sees a young person who thinks they're above the rules. The note says, everyone can change. If they want to. If they try. If someone believes in them enough to hold them accountable. He closes the file. He stands. He walks to his chambers. Another day done. Another case resolved. Another person hopefully on a better path. For months later, Trevor completes his final hour of community service. Linda Martinez shakes his hand. You did good, kid. Real good. I couldn't have done it without you, Trevor says. You taught me everything. I just showed you how to care, Linda says. You did the rest. Trevor hugs her. Then he says goodbye to the patients. Mrs. Chung cries. Who's going to help me now? She asks. I'll still visit, Trevor promises. Once a week. I'm not going anywhere. And he doesn't. He comes back every Saturday. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. Because these people matter to him now. Because helping them makes him feel alive. Makes him feel human. Marcus gets out of jail. Trevor is there to meet him. He takes Marcus to lunch. Then to an apartment. A small one-bedroom place. It's paid for 6 months, Trevor says. That gives you time to find work. To get stable. I talked to a friend who owns a restaurant. He's willing to hire you. Kitchen prep work. It's not glamorous, but it pays decent. $15 an hour. Marcus stares at him. Why are you doing this? Because someone did it for me, Trevor says. Judge Caprio. My dad. Linda. Maria. They all gave me chances. They all believed I could change. Now I'm doing that for you. Marcus's eyes fill with tears. I don't know what to say. Say you'll try, Trevor says. Say you'll work hard. Say you'll stay out of trouble. I will, Marcus says. I promise I will. They shake hands. Then they hug. Two people from completely different worlds. Connected now. Forever. The final hearing happens on a Thursday afternoon. Judge Caprio reviews all the paperwork. All the documentation. All the signatures. Everything is complete. Perfect. Mr. Ashford, the judge says. You've done it. You completed every single requirement. Community service. Check. Victim impact panels. Check. Defensive driving course. Check. Letter of apology. Check. Restitution paid in full. Check. You're done. Trevor smiles. Thank you, Your Honor. For everything. What are you going to do now? The judge asks. Now that you're free. Trevor thinks about it. I'm going to keep volunteering. At the health center. I'm also starting a foundation. To help people like Marcus. People getting out of jail who need a second chance. I'm going to use my money for something good. Something meaningful. Preston is in the courtroom again. He's beaming. His son. His boy. Finally becoming a man. Judge Caprio stands. Trevor Ashford, this court is proud of you. This community is proud of you. I'm proud of you. You came in here as one person. You're leaving as someone completely different. Someone better. Keep going. Keep growing. Keep helping. The world needs more people like the person you've become. Trevor stands up straight. I will, Your Honor. I promise. Judge Caprio strikes his gavel one last time. Case closed. And it is. The case is closed. But Trevor's story is just beginning. A new story. A better story. A story of redemption. Of change. Of becoming the person you're meant to be. 3 years later, Trevor's foundation has helped 247 people. People leaving jail. People struggling with addiction. People who need a second chance. He's opened a transitional housing program. He's partnered with local businesses to create job opportunities. He's funded scholarships for kids whose parents are incarcerated. He still visits the health center every Saturday. Mrs. Chun is still there. She's 90 now. Frielier than ever. But she lights up when she sees Trevor. My boy, she calls him. My sweet boy. Maria Santos and Trevor became friends. Real friends. She invited him to her daughter's quinceañera. He came. He brought a gift. A savings bond for her daughter's college fund. Maria cried. You didn't have to do this. I know, Trevor said. I wanted to. Preston Ashford sold his real estate company. He's retired now. But he volunteers too. At Trevor's foundation. Father and son. Working together. Helping people together. Making up for lost time. Making a difference. And Judge Frank Caprio? He's still there. Still in his courtroom. Still hearing cases. Still believing that people can change. Still giving second chances. Still holding people accountable. Still making justice mean something. Because that's what justice is. It's not about revenge. It's not about punishment for punishment's sake. It's about accountability. Understanding. Growth. Transformation. It's about looking at someone who made a terrible mistake and saying, you can be better. You will be better. And I'm going to help you get there. Money can buy many things. Cars. Watches. Houses. Experiences. But it cannot buy character. It cannot buy empathy. It cannot buy growth. It cannot buy change. Those things have to be earned. Through hard work. Through humility. Through facing what you did wrong and deciding to do better. Trevor learned that lesson. The hard way. In a courtroom. In a jail cell. In a health center helping people who had nothing. And it changed his life. It saved his life. Because the Trevor who walked into that courtroom 3 years ago was heading down a dark path. A path of entitlement and arrogance and emptiness. A path that would have led to loneliness, bitterness, regret. But Judge Caprio stopped him, turned him around, put him on a different path. A path of service, of growth, of meaning. And Trevor walked that path. One step at a time. 1 hour of community service at a time. One patient at a time. 1 day at a time. And he's still walking it. Still growing. Still learning. Still becoming better. Because that's what we all can do. If we choose to. If we're brave enough to face our mistakes. If we're humble enough to admit we were wrong. If we're strong enough to change. Everyone deserves justice. Rich or poor. Young or old. No matter who your father is. No matter how much money you have. No matter what connections you can call. In Judge Caprio's courtroom, everyone is equal. Everyone is accountable. Everyone has a chance to learn. To grow. To become better. And that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it work. That's what makes it matter. Justice isn't about how much you can pay. It's about what you can learn. What you can become. How you can change. And if you're willing to do those things, if you're willing to really try, then anything is possible. Even a 23-year-old crypto millionaire who thought the world revolved around him can become someone who makes the world better. Someone who helps. Someone who cares. Someone who matters. Trevor Ashford proved that. And every day in courtrooms all over the world, other people are proving it too. Learning from their mistakes. Growing from their consequences. Becoming the people they're meant to be. That's the real ending to this story. Not the punishment. Not the jail time. Not even the community service. The real ending is the transformation. The change. The growth. The journey from arrogance to empathy. From entitlement to gratitude. From selfishness to service. That's what Judge Caprio gave Trevor. Not a sentence, but a gift. The gift of becoming better. The gift of understanding. The gift of a second chance to get life right. And Trevor took that gift. He unwrapped it. He used it. He shared it with others. And now he's giving that same gift to people like Marcus. People who need someone to believe in them. Someone to give them a chance. Someone to say, you made a mistake. But you're not your mistake. You can be better. And I'm going to help you. That's the legacy of this case. Not the viral video. Not the shocking quotes. Not the dramatic sentencing. The legacy is the lives changed. The people helped. The transformation that happened when someone cared enough to hold someone accountable while still believing in their potential. Every single day we all have choices. To be like Trevor was. Or to be like Trevor became. To think only of ourselves. Or to think of others. To use our advantages to hurt. Or to help. To take the easy path. Or the right path. Judge Frank Caprio reminds us that the right path is worth walking. Even when it's hard. Even when it hurts. Even when we have to face ourselves and admit we were wrong. Because on the other side of that path is something beautiful. Something meaningful. Something real. A life of purpose. A life of service. A life that matters. And that's worth more than any cryptocurrency. More than any Audemars Piguet watch. More than any designer clothes or luxury cars or million-dollar portfolios. A life that matters. That's the richest thing anyone can have. Trevor Ashford learned that. In a courtroom in Providence, Rhode Island. From a judge who cared enough to teach him. From a woman he hurt who was brave enough to face him. From patients at a health center who showed him what real strength looks like. From a cellmate who showed him what real struggle means. And now he lives it. Every single day. That's justice. Real justice. The kind that changes lives. The kind that builds better humans. The kind that makes the world just a little bit better.